Very nice. All right, well, my time is up, but Lily, I'm happy to write you a note if you need one. That might help, I'm not sure. I'm going to come now to Mr. Donalds for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Witnesses, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. By way of background, I served in Florida's legislature. I was a chair of 2 education subcommittees. I wrote legislation about providing people who live within a county the ability to review all material, whether it's classroom or library material, and that all taxpayers, whether they are parents or reside in the county, should have an ability to review that material and examine it, because they're the ones that pay for it. Ms. Berg, I know you're Virginia. Ms. Hull, I know you're Pennsylvania. I will describe for you the procurement process in Florida. Any material, whether it's in the library or in the classroom, is actually approved by the State Board of Education. The State Board of Education goes through their material procurement. They give a list of what they view as being responsible material for the school system. That list then goes down to the school districts. School district administrators review the list. They provide a list of what they feel should be acquired. The school board then votes on the recommendations from the administrators in order to provide the dollars to actually purchase those materials, and that is what actually ends up in the classroom or in the library. There might be a slight variation of that with the library, but by and large, the administrators bring a list of materials to be acquired, school boards vote on them, and that's how they show up. Is that true?
Yes, to my knowledge.
It's a little different in Pennsylvania. There's a lot more local control.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair. But can we at least agree, for the premise of what we're discussing, that school boards are the ones that authorize purchases?
Yes.
Does the school board have the legal authority and the taxing authority to decide what goes in and out of libraries and classrooms?
It's my understanding that school board policy places the superintendent in a position to make those and delegate those decisions.
Does the elected school board have a responsibility to decide on the funding necessary to either acquire material or keep material in classrooms and or libraries? Yes or no?
I think in terms of Loudoun County, we also have a board of supervisors which approves our budget. And again, like Ms. Hull said, it's our superintendent who has decisions in both staffing and allocation of resources.
So when the material is allowed to come in, or there is a decision to remove material, is it just done at the behest of a group, or is there actually a vote of somebody, whether it is the school board, the board of supervisors, or even the decision of the superintendent? Is it that person's decision or that body's decision to remove said material?
Not always. Most libraries have weeding processes with the removal of books in a general consensus, especially in nonfiction literature, where we need to keep updated and information accurate, and that is a process that is trusted to the experts, the librarians, to be able to do that process without any voting.
Well, I would argue, Ms. Hull, that at the end of the day, you might decide what is going to sit in a library, but the funding comes from the taxing authority. And if they choose not to fund that purchase, they choose to remove that purchase, the responsibility falls with them. So if the body politic, the parents that live in a community, decide that they find material objectionable, and they go to their elected representatives who have authority over the school district, and they vote to remove material, wouldn't you say that is the appropriate way a representative democracy is supposed to work? Better question. Here's the better question. Should parents have the ability to have their voices heard about material that they think should be in front of their children, whether it is mandatory or whether it is optional? Do you think parents should have that ability to voice their opinions?
Yes, absolutely, as I said in my statement, and they do have that right. The books that are being banned are a majority of the books from library, which are complete choice. They are not the books in our curriculum or required reading. You absolutely have a say in what your child should be able to read, but they're no longer coming to us, the professionals, the experts.
Berg, I got one question.
Wait, I'd like to finish my answer.
The gentleman has the time.
I got 45 seconds, so I got to
Parents have a say.
I got to focus this in.
They don't have a say for
Ms.
every
Berg,
other parent in the
you'll get a
county.
chance.
I
It's
would not say that parents have the right to say for other parents. What I am saying is, do parents or a large part of the community at large have an ability to lobby or engage with their elected officials on the local level to decide what's in the room? I would say the answer to that is yes. Ms. Freeman, quick question for you. I know that I understand the situation that you laid out with your child. I have 3 sons. I could completely understand what you and your spouse are having to deal with, go through, explain, support your child, completely understand that. If the material was not in your child's library, would you be able to still acquire that material through Amazon, through Barnes and Nobles, or anywhere else?
Personally, me, yes, but not every parent has that opportunity to do that, or every child feels safe enough and has that environment.
And I think this is important.
The gentleman's time is expired, but you can finish this
Here's what I'm
question.
going to wrap, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Freeman, I appreciate your answer. The point I'm really trying to make is that we have many parents who have very different objectives, and they all should be respected in this discussion. So to make the argument that books are being banned when they are going through the legal course of action to talk to their representatives, I think is very hyperbolic and is not actually correct about the process that is being used to decide what materials are in or out of the classroom. With that, I yield back. Thank you for the leeway, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, you bet, Mr. Donalds. And I would also just ask you to read page 59 of my book, We the Students, about Board of Education versus PICO, which dealt with just precisely the process you're talking about, but where the Supreme Court still said you can't strip books from public school libraries because someone disagrees with the viewpoint or the content there. But check it out, check it out. All right, let's see. Now, Ms. Wasserman Schultz, you're recognized for 5 minutes.